106.5 FM and online. It's the After 5 Guest with Win Thomas.
Making a return to the programme is the well-known Mr. Vernon Hopkins and his new book called Help Yourself, his time with Tom Jones and the Squires. Hello, how are you, all right?
Good evening, Win.
Nice to have your company this afternoon.
Yes.
You were the bass player in the band, weren't you?
Yeah, bass player with the Senators. Yeah.
So they were first called the Senators. Why were they changed to the Squires?
Well, that was after Tom Jones became Tom Jones instead of Tommy Scott,
right.
And the Senators became the Squires. But while we were in Wales, it was Tommy Scott and the Senators. And what happened was we formed a 5-piece band in Ponty in 1960. We appeared on regional TV and everything was really going well. But then one of the members left. He wasn't all that interested in staying on. So we brought in another local boy called Tommy Woodward, who later became Tom Jones.
And you found Tom Jones, didn't you, really, in a way?
Yeah, I found him in a pub. That's not unusual, neither.
Singing, was it? You were singing in a pub?
Oh, well, no, what happened was the singer hadn't turned up on a Friday night in the YMCA in Pontypridd. And again, so we needed a singer. Although we could sing, groups were fronted by a singer then, and Clifford the Shadows, and all those. So I rushed through Pontypridd during the break and found Tom Woodward in the bar there and asked him if he'd like to come up and sing for the second half because it was worth a couple of quid. He said, yeah, okay. So he swallowed his pint and was about to make it through the door, but then he realised that the YM, as he said, there's no booze in it. I said, no, it's a youth club sort of thing. So he declined and he said, no, I'm out with the boys tonight on Friday night. I said, look, what if I bring in some light ales, 4 light ales, buy some from behind the bar and sneak them in and put them behind the curtain? Will he come up then? And he said, okay, let's go. As long as you were paying, he said.
And it was 1964 when Gordon Mills came into your life and became your manager, and Tom's as well, yeah?
Well, that was 3 years later. So we were going from strength to strength as Tommy Scott and the Senators. It was a great time. And 3 years later, in 1964, Gordon Mills was from Tonopandi, but living in London, and was visiting his family in Tonopandi, and came to see us in a club called the Top Hat, and was bowled over, and the next thing we knew, we was whisked away a month later to London, and signed it straight away, and he was going to make us all stars, etc., as you usually do, the saying goes. But we didn't realise that he didn't have any money at all, he said to promote us. So when we arrived in London, we were shocked to find ourselves in Ladbroke Grove, which was sort of a melting pot of every colour and creed you can think of, and really dangerous places there. So he set us up in a very dingy basement flat there. We had to settle on £1 a day between 5 of us to survive on, and that was £1 between 5. Forget it, So that was it, and we stayed like that for months on end. Right through to the end of the year, we went up there in June, and we were all thinking of going home, and we couldn't stand it, and Gordon Mills sold his car, sold his watch, and it was really, really heavy-duty stuff going on, Yeah. Anyway, fortunately, towards the end of that year, 64, Gordon wrote... It's Not Unusual. So we did a demo of it. We wanted it, because we thought, you're our manager. We need this song. It's a great song. And he said, I'm sorry. We hope for Sunny Shaw to record it because I'm skint. And if she makes it a hit, then, I can promote the band. And we thought, well, that's going to take ages, and we were on the verge of going on because we were fed up. So anyway, Sunny Shaw turned it down and we had it, which we thought we had it then. But when it came to recording it, although we were a top-notch band, and we really could really play, that's why he wanted us up in London in the first place, he decided that there was going to be a big orchestra and we weren't going to play on the record. Never mind, boys, with sanctimonious verve, he said, you will all get well paid and we'll all have a good deal on this if the record is a hit. The record was a big hit, and then everything changed from then on because... Tom moved out. We were in a flat, of course. We moved out because, he's a star then. And although... and we were just put on wages. Gordon said, no, you're going to get £20 a week now. And then once Tom was, established, we were away, and everything would be great. So when Tom was eventually later that year, the money was rolling in, and he was Rolls Royces and this and that. Everybody knows that the way what happened, not usual. And we still found ourselves on £20 a week and living in digs, which was a bit heavy considering what we had put into the whole thing right from 1960. And that went on like that. And
so the impression given, I can always remember the impression of seeing Tom Jones. I remember seeing Tom on Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
With that white shirt on and those black trousers. Do you remember that performance?
Yes.
And it always gave the impression that he was a solo artist even then, but he wasn't, was he? He was still part of your band.
Yeah, still part of the band. But Gordon had intentions. Why? He had an agenda right from the beginning, which we found out later, that when he came to the top out and saw us, he had, ideas then. I'm going to, this is a star, of course. And Tom Jones was a star then, unknown, of course, but we didn't know what the future held. But he decided then, without letting us know, I'm going to put this boy in the front of the band. I'll bring the band up then to support him. But he's the boy. And that was fair enough in a way, because...
But he turned on you, didn't he? And Tom did as well in the end.
Yeah, in the end. Yeah. As soon as it was all, lovely and, everything together, 5 fingers on one hand and everything. But as soon as Not Unusual came out, everything changed dramatically. And we were just left on the sidelines completely and utterly. Take it or leave it. Go home, back to Wales, or you can stay on and perhaps see a bit of the world. Well,
so you were on this £40 a week only from...
£20 a week.
Yeah, £20 a week, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And...
Tom was earning thousands of pounds a week.
Yeah. And... but then you got to travel the world with Tom, but still on £40 a week, didn't you? You went to Vegas, you went all over the place, didn't you?
Well, we went up to £30 after we'd been Tom 2 years, and that was when we were at the talk of the town. And we did all these records, we did albums, and we didn't get paid any royalties at all, even for live at the talk of the town. The band was doing everything. We were doing command performances, 2 command performances, still on £30 a week. And it was outrageous, but we didn't, it was that or go.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I started the band in the beginning, and I just couldn't leave it there, and the rest of the boys thought that maybe it would be change of heart eventually, but it never came.
So, did you approach Gordon or Tom for an increase in your pages?
Both of them. Many times. What
did they say?
No,
Oh, right, okay.
Brutally as that. No, you're not going to get a rise. You may get £10 rise the next year or something like that. And we said, well, look, give us a £10 rise and pay for our stamps, and things like that, insurance stamps, and the vice versa. But we had to pay for tax, which we didn't have a clue about, and he just left us as if we were self-employed, which was terrible, and we didn't know that. We were so naive.
So you was Tom, a mega star, mega money,
yeah.
and you were on a...
I was living in Diggs in a council house, which was against the law because, as you know, you can't have lodgers in a council house paying. It's against the council rules. Yeah. So it ended like that. I mean, I was like that for 3 or 4 years, and the rest of the band, we were left with skint by money. We had to go on the road and pay for our own digs and pay for our own food in cafes on £30 a week, which would probably be about £150 today, something like that. Yeah. Or whatever, but enough just to get by without having to go on the road. And so we were dead skint, and that was the end of the story.
So the only benefits you got out of it was he took you all over the world with him,
yeah.
And you got to meet people like the Supremes and Mary Wilson and people like that, and Elvis, even Elvis.
Yeah. It was all worth it in the end, because I said, one of the boys said, no, I'm Mickey G, the great guitarist, is no longer with us. He said, I'm going, I can't stand it, We thought, Tom, you were a friend, and every time we'd ask for something increased, Tom would say, oh, nothing to do with me, go and see Gordon. And that was his one line all the time. And then we'd see Gordon and he'd say, no, you're not, take it or leave it. And we say, Tom, but he said, take it or leave it, and Tom would sort of shrug his shoulders.
There's a little story in there where you actually meet a piano player in a session, and he says, if you ever need Reginald Dwight, just call me.
Yeah.
Reginald Dwight, we came across Elton John, didn't he?
Yeah. We did a demo in Denmark Street with one of the band members and myself. Well, we were still on those wages, of course, because they didn't write, but we were trying to get on as well, So in between gigs and tours, we went down to Denmark Street, and the keyboard player hadn't turned up for the session in a little recording, Regent Sound. And So anyway, we went to this place called a Gioconda, which is very well known in Denmark Street at the time. And we asked if there's any pianist there. Anybody can come in and play a song for £5. We give them £5. And so anyway, this little fella comes up, with glasses, and he said, "Oh, I'll do it." So we did this little song called "The Gardener," about which I had written the lyrics to, about a young man living in a big estate, and the mistress there and all that. He's the guy falls in love, and it was that sort of thing. It was like a folky type of thing. But when he was doing it, this Reg Dwight, when he was there, I noticed afterwards that he was playing classically, digging in the eyes of a man in disguise, I am dinky. And that, when we found out later on, the following year, that guy was Elton John. and the pianist, he kept that going throughout all the songs, there's that tinkle-link-a-dinky-dinky-ding. That was his, because you're a classical pianist. So that happened there.
So what finally broke you with Tom? What did you say about enough of going home?
But no, that wasn't it. We were told through the newspapers in the Daily Mirror that Tom and the band had amicably split.
Yeah.
That's the first I knew about it. I'd read about it. One morning I got up and I went for some from these digs and looked in the newspaper. I was going for a little breakfast there in a little cafe, and it says Tom Jones. In a mirror, went up to the Tom Jones and the Squires in an amicable split. And so and so and so. So Tom Jones and the band had decided to break, things and all that and go their different ways, etc., etc., etc. Nobody knew about it. The band didn't know it. It had to come from a newspaper. And that was terrible. And then, after that, there was a shock. We were devastated, of course. And because we'd done all this, and we're loyal and everything like that, and Tom would just separate then from us anyway. Because, he was good. We wouldn't mix at all, and that was it. And so we were left desperate. And it took a year for me to get over it. I was driving a lorry and this, that, and the other, and doing. I'm going to make a tack on this, but double entendre sort of thing, and say, just help yourself, and then leave the reader to decide which one do you think should have been the title from the song, or, in quotes, just help yourself, because that's exactly what happened. Lots of things, and then, fortunately, I had a job with a great singer, and went to Australia and things like that. I never settled down and everything, but it was hard to forget.
It's all in the book.
Yeah.
What's the name of the book again? I'll spell that outside you.
Just Help Yourself.
Just Help Yourself, yeah.
And that, as I said, it took a little while for me to get the title, and I thought, well, it's for why, or something like that, or, or whatever. But I thought, well, Just Help Yourself came in 1986, 68 rather, of course, and it was a big hit there. And I thought, well, just help yourself. And then I thought, well, I'm going to make a tack on this, not an attack, but double entendre sort of thing, and say, just help yourself, and then leave the reader to decide which one do you think should have been the title from the song, or, in quotes, just help yourself, because that's exactly what happened.
Right, so you mentioned that you wrote lyrics for a song called The Gardener. You've written much more than that. You've lots of stuff, haven't you?
Well, I've written for Tom. Tom brought out, with a little luck, in 1989 on an album called From the Vaults, and it's on there. And also I've written loads and loads. I've got a huge catalogue of songs.
And now you're poised to bring your album out next year, aren't you?
Yes, I'm very pleased about it. And it's 18 tracks of some of the best songs I've ever written, and I've written them for, Iris Williams, Chalky Mill Choir, the Liberation Hymn, etc., and Billy J. Kramer and others. I've written lots of songs for people, and so I thought, well, get the songs out myself, with myself singing on them, and it's across the genre. It's folk, rock and roll, jazz, classical.
Well, it's a fascinating book, and there's I mean, there's lots of photographs in there, photographs I've never seen before. So there's some real rare photographs in the book.
Yeah.
It's an incredible read. You know, it really is
400 pages.
Yes, it's a detailed story of your time with Tom and even after Tom as well.
Yeah. It was great times. You had some great times there. It wasn't all... I mean, the thing was there was a shadow hanging over it all the time because, you know, we had some great times with Tom, and especially before Not Unusual, when we were living, you know, like traps and things like that, but we had our own sort of humour as well to get by. Right. And Tom was one of the boys, definitely, and he was all mucking in with everything. We shared 2 sausage rolls between the 5 of us, and sometimes to keep a bit of, and literally that, we were really down and out and living in a terrible area. But then it happens, you know, that's what, you know, things change and you become a star and then but it was... So,
can I just finally ask you, have you seen him since then? Did you talk to him at all now?
No, it was in 1987 after the terrible breakup, unceremoniously just gone like that with the wind. Without even a handshake from Tom, he just left it to his, the company, to manager, to say you're no longer worthy or whatever.
Well, Vernon, thanks so much for coming to see me today. It's an absolute delight to meet you again. The book is called Just Help Yourself by Vernon Hopkins, and it's about Tom Jones and the Squires. Yeah, and as you said to us just now, you're bringing out your album next week, and you brought us a demo of a track that's going to be on there.
Well, it's not a demo, it's the actual songs. A big company called Fresh Trees, which have got a lot of big stars in the books. You know, it's coming out in January on HMV, in all the stores and everything. So, you know, I'm very excited about it. And there's one track, it's called Endless Roads, and it's about my journey, you might say, in music. Right. And the first one is called So Little Time, which I'm really, really, really excited about. It's a story about leaving home and trying to make it. And that's exactly what we did, the band did.
Is that track?
Gotta move on. Get out of this place. I'm wasting my time, and time I can't waste. I'm catching the train, the 12:42. So little time, and so much to do. Sun beating down, warm on my face, and all that I own is right here in this case. But I have a dream that I must pursue. So little time and so much to do. Oh, this old town has done the best that it could do. It raised me to a full-grown man. One day when I return, I'm gonna pay my dues. Once I have found that promised land. Family links and family ties. It will be so hard to leave them behind. But I have a dream that I must pursue. So little time and so much to do. Town has done the best that it could do. It raised me to a full-grown man. One day when I return, I'm gonna pay my dues. Once I have found that promised land. sun beating down, warm on my face, and all that I own is right here in this case. I'm catching the train, the 12:42, so little time and so much to do. So little time, so much to do. So little time, oh, and so much to do.
There we go, that's my After 5 guest today, Vernon Hopkins, a track of his new album.